This is the weirdest island. This morning we woke up next to a lava field in a cave, dry as a desert, and now we're in the mist, surrounded by green pastures, volcanoes, and the sound of cicadas in the mist. So strange. We sailed down to the Canary Islands from Portugal, and when we tell our friends that we were at El Hierro, they would be like, where? So I just thought I'd show you exactly where it is in the Canaries. We first sailed down from Portugal to the top of Lanzarote. Then we sailed down past Fuerteventura, across to Gran Canaria, over to Tenerife, then to La Gomera, up to La Palma, and down to El Hierro in the far southwest. So it's actually the most furthest or the most westerly and southerly part of Europe. And the island we made for La Restinga in the south of the island, and then cycled around it in a counterclockwise direction, up through into the forest, around to the west, and then back down to La Restinga at the bottom there, where the boat is moored up. So around the outside and then back down. And so we started off going up through the forest, up through into the cloud forest, right to the top. And that's where this trip begins. Good view, right?
It is actually quite nice.
The highest point of El Hierro.
About 1330. Thankfully, we got a bus this morning. Thank God for that, because otherwise we'd be slogging up. We'd got to maybe 500 metres by now.
So we actually can't see a thing.
Well,
oh, it's kind of clearing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's clearing. Look, look, look. Da, da, da. Educational piece here. This is volcanic silt, and it all looks very dry. And in Lanzarote they grow wine, but because it gets hot, it condensates. So underneath the surface, look, it's wet, and that's what the plants grow from in the volcanic soil. So we descended from the cloud forest then into the pine forest. These pine forests have Canarian pine, which have evolved to be very resistant to fire with really thick bark. And then cycling on kind of volcanic grit, really, that winds its way through these pine forests and eventually a little bit closer to the sea, which is a kind of more temperate climate. And there were lots of caves, which were obviously the old dwellings of the natives to the Canary Islands, but one in particular here we thought was a particularly nice place to set up for the night. So here we are at Master Chef de la Cuevas. How do you pronounce it? Caves? Cuevas. Firstly, we are in a cave complex, an ancient cave complex where the Canarians used to live. So we even had a choice of a few different caves, but we ended up deciding on this one because it had a really nice thick bed of straw to hunker down on. We think it was used by a local shepherd, but anyway, he didn't turn up, so this was our cave for the night, all surrounded by kind of warm volcanic rock that soaked up the heat of the day. And then we cracked on the next day, winding our way down. The trees kind of gave out, just kind of volcanic orange rock, just sweeping around, big turns, not a car in sight. Really, really cool cycling, just bombing down on perfectly smooth roads. And then as we sweep our way down to the coast again, the magma looks like it barely erupted yesterday. It just looked like it kind of bubbled up out of the surface. And in fact, this island did erupt only in 2012.
I'm doing a picture of this abandoned building, Casa Rosa. It had been some thermal baths we actually have come across on our bikes. I love pastels because they're very malleable. They're almost like working with paints. You can get your fingers into them, change the colours a little bit. And we've got our trusty bikes. Great way to see the island, El Hierro, Canary Islands, and to really kind of see some of the details on the way around.
One of the really cool things about this north coast is that it gets battered by the Atlantic waves, and it's chipped away at all the volcanic rock, leaving these lovely little pools that you can walk down to and swim in. There's a few of them all dotted around the coast, but this is just one of them where we decided to take a break and stop to have a swim.
Not warmer.
So many times before. Every moment that I spend without you leaves me wanting more. And if I close my eyes.
And by now we've gone full circle around the island and cycling back up to the top where the cloud forest starts. So the pines have gone, the mist is coming in, so we parked up the bikes and thought we'd actually have a better look around the cloud forest or jungle. Gone from volcano to jungle in like a matter of seconds. And then back on the bikes again, back down through the pine forest, some amazing sweeping roads through the forest, and then that gives way to the lava fields again, all the way back down to La Restinga, where the boat is hopefully still there after a few days. Thought we'd use up the last rations of our food from the cycle trip, watch the sun go down, and just reflect on what is such a cool island. What's your friend called?
Shadowfax.
Shadowfax.
Shadowfax is a pink nose.